So here we are again. Oh my goodness, are we really back here? Is it really Sunday again already? I really can't believe how quickly these weeks and days and hours sometimes appear to be going by. However, maybe today you are thinking, Mr. Duncan, come on, hurry up, get a move on, we are waiting for you. So here we go, it is Sunday, and yes, it is English Addict, live from the birthplace of English. That is, of course, England. So here we go again. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? I hope you are feeling good and happy, and I hope you can see and I hope you can hear me as well. It is nice to be back with you, by the way. It's lovely to be back with you here on YouTube, and yes, we are all together live once more. As you can see, I am once again out in the garden. I am outside. I thought today we would do it again from outside, so I hope you don't mind that. I am now just setting up the live stream so you can see me on the screen, which I hope you can right now. Here we go then. Oh my goodness, I have a busy one today because I've got Mr. Steve here. He will be here in a few moments, so we will have Steve here on the live chat as well. So don't worry, everyone is here today, including me and hopefully including you as well. We have some more very interesting words to look at today. We have some very unusual words. I know a lot of you enjoy looking at some of the very strange and unusual words that exist in the English language, so I thought I would do that today. Also, don't forget, it's Easter. It's Easter. So we have arrived at another Easter. I hope whatever you are doing today for your Easter day, if you celebrate Easter, I hope you are having a good day. So it is Easter, and that must mean that it's Sunday. Yes, it's Sunday once again. We have made it all the way to another Sunday. I hope you are feeling good. I know that we are living through some very strange times at the moment. Things are a little bit weird. Hopefully, I can cheer you up if you are at home at the moment during these strange times. I hope I can cheer you up somehow. I hope I can make everything a little bit better on your Sunday morning, or maybe Sunday afternoon, or maybe it is Sunday night, or even perhaps Monday morning where you are. So I hope you are feeling good. For those who don't know who I am, who are you? We don't know who you are. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Duncan and I teach English on YouTube. I have been doing it for ever such a long time. Do you know how long I've been doing this for? I'm sure you know by now, because I keep telling you every single day. I've been doing this for nearly 14 years. Mr. Duncan, how do you keep going? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know how I keep going, but here we are, all together, still, after 14 years of doing this. Hello to the world. Hello to the live chat. Oh, I wonder who was first on today's live chat. I wonder. Let's have a look, shall we? Oh, I see. Vitas. I can see that Vitas once more has a very fast finger. Your finger is like Superman's finger. It is very fast on that mouse. So congratulations to Vitas. You are first on today's live chat. As you can see, I have the clap once more. What? I have my applause. That's what I meant to say, actually. So we have the applause once more. If it is your first time watching my live stream, can you please say, Mr. Duncan, it is my first time here, and I might give you, if I'm feeling generous, I might give you a round of applause as well. So here we are, all together again. Also, hello to Sally. Hello to Sally, watching me down the alley. Hello also to Anna Pika. Olga is here. Nice to see you back again, Olga. Welcome to another Sunday. It is English Addict. Yes, we are doing another English Addict on Sunday. This is episode 61. I can't believe it. Have we really made it all the way to 61 episodes of English Addict? Wow. Hello also, Blue Thunder is here. Hello Blue Thunder, nice to see you back again. How are you celebrating this Easter Sunday? Are you doing something special? Are you eating an Easter egg? Oh, talking of which, Mr. Steve has bought me a rather nice Easter egg. Ooh, Mr. Duncan, you lucky man. So I will be showing you my Easter egg a little bit later on. We have Mr. Steve here as well. Of course, I should mention that we will be safe spacing. So we will be keeping ourselves far apart from each other. And to be honest with you, I quite like it, to be honest. I quite like having a safe distance. Some safe social distancing between myself and Mr. Steve. I'm getting used to it, to be honest. Yes, I quite like it. Hello, Noemi. Hello, Maria. Hello, Florence. I hope you are having a good day wherever you are in the world. Irene is here. Hello, Mr. Duncan, and everyone. Everyone is here? I hope so. Don't forget, you can have live captions as well underneath. So if you press C on your keyboard, or of course you can go to the settings above. You can also look at the settings as well above on your mobile phone, and you can have live captions. It's incredible. I love technology so much, I really do. Hello also to Eleanor, Maria, Konstantin. Hello, Konstantin. Nice to see you back here again. Haven't seen you for a while. Mr. Bruno is here. Wow. So many familiar people, so many familiar names are joining in on today's live stream already. Thank you very much for joining me. I am outside once again. Outside. Although today the weather is a little strange. They've forecast rain. So I hope it doesn't rain. Just in case, I have my umbrella here. So just in case it does start raining, I have my umbrella and I can protect myself from the rain. All I can say is I hope Mr. Steve has his umbrella, because Mr. Steve will be over there at the other end of the garden, because we have to keep our social distancing. We really do. Hello also to Tanvu Nguyen, who is watching in Vietnam. Hello Vietnam, by the way. I know I have a lot of people watching in Vietnam. Hi Mr. Duncan, happy Sunday and a very happy Easter. A lot of people around the world who share a certain religion are enjoying Easter Sunday. But even if you're not, don't worry. You are more than welcome to join in. It is okay. Everyone is welcome. If you are nice, if you are friendly and kind, if you always have a smile on your face, you are more than welcome to join in today. Hello to Beatrice. Hello also Florence again. Zuzika is here. Hello, Zuzika. I haven't seen you for a long time. It seems like a long time because at the moment I'm doing my daily live streams. I'm here every day doing this. I know it's crazy, but I am. I'm here every single day during this strange time. So I will be here today, of course, because I'm here now. I will also be with you tomorrow as well. So lots and lots of Mr. Duncan during these strange times. As if these times weren't strange enough already. I'm here to make them even weirder. Hello, Tamara. Hello also, Nguyen Hong Tran. Nice to see you as well. Lil is here also. Thank you very much. It's so nice to see lots of people here. Hello to Rebe. Hello to you as well. Helena is here. Nice to see you as well. Tugba. Hello everything. Hello. I hope everything will be good. Let's hope. Yes, I can feel things will be good. Thank you, Tugba. Tugba Tulun. I hope I pronounce your name right, by the way. I hope so. Hello also to Ibrahim. Wow, so many people already here. Thank you. Thank you for giving up your Sunday so you can spend a little bit of time with me. Of course, during these strange times, there are many things that we have to consider. There are many things that we have to think about. Maybe you are feeling as if you are going crazy. I know sometimes I do. It seems very strange, doesn't it? Because quite often I want to go for a walk. Or maybe I want to go with Mr. Steve for a drive in the car. But we can't. We have to stay here at home. So we are all trying to do something to take our minds off what is happening. Sometimes you need to distract yourself. You need to find something else to do. So that is something that a lot of people are doing at the moment. We are trying to find something to distract us, to draw our attention towards something else. So I hope that my live streams will help you to forget about all of the strange things that are happening at the moment. Hello, Luis Mendez. Nice to see you here, Luis. Hello, Abdulaziz. Hello to you. Hello also, Helena Elbala. Hello, Elbala. I don't recognise your name. Elbala. Where are you watching at the moment? Because sometimes I am very nosy. I like to find out where you are watching in the world. Hello, Serene Snow. Hello also to Connell, Ari, Muhammad Atif, watching in Pakistan. Hello to you as well. Hello, Helena, Rebe. Wow, a lot of people are here already. Thank you very much. I always feel very honoured and flattered because you are here giving up your Sunday. So maybe you could be on the phone talking to your friends and relatives, or maybe watching a good movie. But instead you are here doing this with me. And I really do appreciate it as well. I do. Hello also to Smira. Hello, Smira. I like your videos. Smira Radia. Nice name. I like it. Mercedes is here. Hello to you as well. Hello, Mustafa. Palmyra. Wow. This is a very busy live stream already. So many people are here. Would you like to see something nice? Because yesterday I did promise to show you something nice. 2 days ago, I was looking out of my window and I noticed there were 2 very strange birds in the garden. 2 very unusual birds. And I was thinking, those birds, they are strange birds. I've never seen those birds before. So I grabbed my camera and I was very lucky because I was able to film these birds in the garden. Would you like to have a look at these strange birds? Okay, here they are. And all I can say is when I first saw them, I got very excited. For those who know me well, you know I get very excited when I see nature. So I hope you will enjoy seeing these birds as much as I did. Ah, ooh, yes. Very interesting. Are you interested? I hope so. I hope they are on your screen right now, and I hope you can see them. Oh, are they there? Yes. I can see them, but can you? I hope so. I am flying blind today, by the way. I am flying blind. It means I can't see my screen. So I am doing this. I am doing this without any monitor. I have nothing to look at. So there you can see two partridges. Two partridges. There is a male and also a female partridge in the garden. So there are two birds, and I can safely say that I have never had partridges ever in my garden. I've never had partridges, not even one. So there you can see two partridges. There is a male at the front, and at the back there is a female. So this is actually a pair of partridges. Two partridges are sitting in my garden, and they are enjoying the early summer sun, because there was a lot of sun around. 2 days ago I saw these birds sitting on my grass, and I was very surprised to see them. This is the first time that I've ever seen partridges in my garden. And of course at Christmas we always sing about having a partridge in a pear tree. But here I have two partridges in my garden. So there you can see very unusual birds, very colourful, very, very unique looking. I do like the look of these birds. They have beautiful faces. So I hope you can see those on your screen, and you can see all of the beautiful colours of the partridge. A very unusual bird. And I've never seen one. In fact, I can safely say that I've never seen a real partridge ever in my life. So imagine my surprise when there were two partridges sitting on my lawn, enjoying the sun. So these particular birds are sometimes hunted, unfortunately. They are sometimes hunted. They are what we call game birds. So a game bird is a bird that is often shot or hunted for sport. So these particular birds were actually introduced into this country for hunting. And there you can see them in my garden. They are safe in my garden, don't worry. For those who are worried, don't worry, I won't hunt these birds. They are perfectly safe and well and very welcome in my garden. So there they are. I hope you enjoyed that. They are beautiful birds, very unusual birds. And you can probably imagine how excited I was when I saw them. So I've never seen these birds anywhere near where I live. I was quite surprised to see them. So I hope you enjoyed that. Something unusual for today. Two partridges in my garden, enjoying the sun. Something unusual. I did promise that I was going to show that. So I've managed to do it. However, there might be some slight technical problems today because I am doing this, but I can't actually see what is going out from my studio. So I am flying blind today. That means I am doing something without being sure whether it will work or whether it will not work. I am flying blind. Sean says they shouldn't be hunting these lovely birds. I think so. Sometimes we introduce certain types of animal, and in this case, the partridge. So traditionally, the partridge was introduced to be hunted. However, the hunting season is not all the time. So you can only hunt birds such as pheasants and partridges during a certain period of time. So you can't do it all the time. So you would be pleased to hear that you can't always hunt partridges. Only sometimes, not always. Anyway, I enjoyed it, and I hope you did as well. Of course, I'm here every Sunday. My normal live streams, by the way, are on Sunday, Wednesday and Friday. So those are my normal times. However, at the moment, I am doing this every day. And as I explained earlier, the reason why I'm doing this every day is because of everything that is happening in the world. I'm sure you've noticed things at the moment are a little weird, to say the least. Talking of weird, in a few moments we have Mr. Steve joining us on the live stream. So Mr. Steve will be here with us in a few moments from now. I thought we would have a little break before we continue. I hope it doesn't rain, because today the weather forecast said there would be rain, so I hope there won't be. We have some strange words to look at today, some unusual words. We have Mr. Steve, but right now we are going to take a look at one of my full English lessons. And this is an excerpt from one of my full English lessons that I made about 3 years ago. And this is an excerpt from Full English number 18.
Well, hello there. My name is Mr. Duncan. What's yours? Welcome to another Full English episode, coming to you from England, the birthplace of Samuel Johnson, William Shakespeare, Tiddlywinks, Mr. Bean, Benny Hill, the Wellington Boot, Teletubbies, and Mr. Duncan. Oh, and also the English language. Talking of which, let's get going with today's full English lesson, starting from now.
It would appear that more and more people are unable to concentrate for long periods of time due to them having short attention spans. It's time to take a look at another buzzword. A buzzword is a sentence or word that is in common use during a certain time, or is seen as being popular. Today's buzzword is attention span. This phrase relates to the amount of time a person can concentrate on one thing. This can relate to a task or an activity. A person's attention span is measured by how long they can concentrate on doing one thing. We often talk about the short attention span of young people. The various attractions and distractions that exist nowadays has led to a belief that people are beginning to develop short attention spans. The advent of instant digital media and online streaming allows people to view many things within a short space of time. It would appear that these days people grow bored easily, as more choices means that they can swap and change what they are watching in a more convenient way. The term short attention span highlights the inability to concentrate on just one thing. It would appear that more and more people are unable to concentrate for long periods of time due to having short attention spans.
The word break might look simple, but in fact it can be used in many ways. As a verb, break means to destroy something by striking it or throwing the object against a hard surface. To misuse something to the point where it malfunctions or stops working is break. To take something apart in a controlled way is to break up. As a noun, break means to take a rest period from work. You can take a short break or a long break. A period of rest or inactivity is a break. To be on a break means that you are taking time away from something. In a relationship, a couple might be on a break. This means that they temporarily split. They are taking a break from each other. A brief pause or ceasing of something can be described as a break. A break in the rain. This means that the rain has stopped for a while. To break something in means to tame or teach something to be obedient. For example, you can break in a horse. Then there is the other form of break-in, which names the action of a person getting into your property without your permission. To gain entry by force is to break in.
There is a great expression in English which is pull the plaster straight off. A plaster is a small piece of sticky material with another piece of sterile material in the middle. A sticking plaster is used for covering a cut or scratch to the skin. A minor wound that has been bleeding normally requires a plaster to be put on in order to prevent dirt from entering the wound. After a few days, the plaster must be removed. Most people hate removing the plaster as it can be a painful experience. Some people believe that the best way to remove a sticky plaster is to tear it straight off without hesitation. The pain is still there, but it is brief and the discomfort is over quickly. So the expression pull the plaster straight off means to get something unpleasant out the way by taking fast action. Don't delay or drag the problem out. Just pull the plaster straight off and get it out the way. Mr. Duncan, where are you? Where are you, Mr. Duncan? We are waiting for you. Come on, Mr. Duncan, what's going on? Come back to us, for goodness sakes. Okay, I'm on my way. Yes, I'm back. Now, I don't normally say these things or talk like this, but I just had to go to the toilet. I suddenly realised that I had to spend a penny. If you remember last week, we were talking about some strange expressions, and one of them was spend a penny. If you go for a wee-wee, which I just did, I just realised that I needed to go to the toilet for a wee-wee. Unfortunately, I was in there far too long. I was busy washing my hands, you see. I was taking a very long time to wash my hands, and that's what was happening. I hope you are okay today. So here we go, as promised.
Last week we were talking about some strange expressions.
Done it? It's all right, done it.
Okay. Did you hear that? I told you things would go wrong. As soon as Mr. Steve steps outside to join me, that's it. It's all over. No, I'm only joking. Don't worry, Mr. Steve. Here he comes then. Yes, he is back. It's Mr. Steve, everyone. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Mr. Duncan. And here we are out in the garden. And you have kept me socially isolated away from you.
Yes.
Which is always a good thing, even at the best of times.
Yes. I agree.
I think we'll adopt this forevermore.
I like it.
We'll always keep 3 metres apart.
Yeah, I'm getting used to this.
Mr. Duncan, they now think that 3 metres is nowhere near enough.
Oh, I see.
So we probably need to be more like 6 metres, 9 metres.
9 metres?
I think so, yes.
That's about a mile, isn't it?
Well, I could sneeze and my small droplets could spread through the air and reach you.
Wow.
So we'll have to stay a bit further apart.
Wow. Anyway, it's good to see you here, Steve.
You?
We are together. Ah, look, you see, we are together in the garden. So Mr. Steve and myself, we are far apart. For those who are worried, maybe you are thinking, Mr. Duncan, you have to have your social distancing. So I am a few feet away from Mr. Steve. Steve is standing by the old apple tree. And I am here in my usual place.
The old apple tree, which I would like to cut down. But Mr. Duncan doesn't wish me to do that.
No.
But if you look at it closely, it's old, it's diseased, and it doesn't produce any fruit that's worth eating. In fact, the fruit that comes off it is horrible. So I would like to cut it down, but Mr. Duncan likes to see the birds,
Yes.
the pigeons in particular, sleeping in there in the afternoon, which is what they tend to do.
Well, you know what, Steve? One of the things about having trees in your garden is that it is a very good way to attract birds into your garden. So if you have lots of trees or even bushes, so some people do ask, Mr. Duncan, can you tell me how do I get birds to come into my garden? Well, you have to have somewhere for the birds to feel safe. They have to feel safe in the place where they are. So
They do indeed, and they're very safe here, apart from when the predator birds fly in and pick them off.
There are many.
That's the trouble with feeding the birds in your garden, is that all the birds are there in one place feeding, and it's the predator birds can just fly in and pick them off one by one. So it's not ideal, but then hopefully we're saving more by feeding them than we are by losing them to predation.
Ooh.
There's a good word. You see, I'm not just a pretty face. I'm here to bring in new words. Predation. That's one of them today. That's obviously when somebody is attacked and eaten by another animal.
Well,
Predated.
predation is the nature of an animal that will attack another animal or hunt it. So predation expresses that action or the way that a bird will behave.
A predator.
Is it my imagination, Steve, or is it starting to rain?
I think it's starting to rain, which is annoying because I wanted to treat the lawn with some small granules that will kill off the moss and the weeds, and you can only apply it when the grass is dry.
Yes.
So that's annoying me now because I didn't think the rain was going to come till later.
Yes.
So after the live stream, I was going to run up and down with my hopper.
What?
My hopper,
Okay.
which is something that will deliver a measured quantity of something.
Okay.
So I was going to go up and down the lawn with all these granules of inside this hopper, and it would deliver it evenly over the lawn, kill
Okay.
off the moss and the weeds, but it's got to be dry.
So it's something that will deliver something onto your lawn to treat it.
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to borrow my umbrella?
No, I'm fine.
Well,
I'm fine
I'm not
here.
worried about you. I'm worried about my nice phone.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that, Mr. Duncan.
I'm going to.
Well, it's not really raining that much at the moment. Oh, I see. You want me to hold that, do you? Not for me, it's for the equipment. Do you get that? Mr. Duncan isn't worried about me getting wet. He's only worried about his equipment.
I'm not worried about Mr. Steve getting wet. I don't want my other mobile phone to get wet and get damaged. You see?
It's going to be very difficult for me to look at the live chat
Is it?
while holding an umbrella. I've got to multitask here, Mr. Duncan.
Look, I'm. Oh, good. That's nice.
I've been sanding down
Yeah.
the steps.
Are you
going.
sure?
Yes, I have. I've been doing some sandpapering today, and a bit of the paint, the dust has got
Okay.
into my throat.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Are you
Mr.
sure
Duncan.
that's what it is?
Oh yes, it's nothing else.
Oh, okay.
So what have you been talking about today, Mr. Duncan?
We've been talking about the unusual birds that we had in the garden,
Oh yes.
Steve.
You mean the now what was it? It was a game bird, wasn't it?
Yes.
That we had in our garden. So
Birds, birds that are sometimes hunted.
hunted for eating by humans.
Yes.
And so we had a partridge. Have you shown the video, Mr.
Yes.
Duncan?
In fact, I might put it on the screen again. Shall we have a quick look? Let me just find the partridge again. So here is the lovely partridge, and there are two. Actually, there are two partridges, and there they are. You can see them on the screen right now. And I'm suddenly aware that I'm getting wet here.
Do you want an umbrella, Mr. Duncan?
You've got my umbrella.
I don't think it's going to be very much. I think it's just a little bit of fine drizzle.
Drizzle.
Because if I look up into the sky, you see, I can see that there isn't very much in the way of thick cloud cover.
Okay.
So I predict this is a very minor temporary shower,
Temporary.
and it will soon pass, and your equipment will be safe from the rain,
Good.
which is all you're really worried about, Mr. Duncan.
That is all I'm worried about. So there are the partridges. Oh, they are so cute. I think they are beautiful birds. They really are. They're the most amazing birds. They have the most attractive faces as well. Very unusual birds. And, oh yes, the other thing I wanted to say, Steve, was in the morning when I woke up, I could actually hear the partridges in the garden making these very strange sounds. So they were really making these unusual noises. So I was already suspicious. I was very suspicious when I woke up. And I thought, I don't recognise those birds. I don't recognise the sound of those birds. And then I realised that they were unusual birds. Two partridges in the garden.
I know. They were beautiful to look at. I can't believe people shoot them.
Yeah.
To eat, to hunt them, because they really were very attractive birds, and the male and female look very similar.
Yes.
Whereas when we have the other birds in our garden that make that loud squawking noise, I can't remember the name of them, Mr. Duncan.
Pheasants.
The pheasants. When we have the pheasants in our garden, the male is incredibly colourful and has beautiful feathers, but the female is very dull looking, just like a dull grey colour. I presume because it can merge into the background shrubbery and isn't eaten so easily by predators.
Yes, they can hide.
They can hide very easily, disguise themselves. But the partridges looked almost the same, just one with the male was slightly bigger than the female.
Yes, it's unusual. So with some species of bird, there will be a definite difference between the male and female. However, with the partridge, the male and female look identical. However, the female is slightly smaller.
But with pigeons, you cannot tell the difference between a male and a female pigeon. They
Yes.
look identical.
You know, Steve, I sometimes wonder whether there are any embarrassing moments with pigeons because they all look the same. And I wonder if one male pigeon has ever tried to chase another male pigeon thinking that it was a female. I don't know.
I'm sure it all comes down to smell. I'm sure
Really?
they know, Mr. Duncan,
Ugh.
who is the male and which is the male and which is the female.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure that they will know, just as sparrows and other birds that look very similar in the sexes. Blackbirds, of course, look different. You can always tell a male and female blackbird quite easily.
Well, the male always has a yellow beak.
Yes, and he's a lot blacker.
Yes, a lot darker.
Yes. Whereas with the pigeons, there's no chance. I think sometimes, because when you see the courtship taking place, which of course is, or the mating process, which is taking place at the moment,
Okay.
we're seeing it everywhere. I think when you can tell then, obviously, which is the male and female, because it's the male that's chasing after the female. Well, we assume he's chasing after the female. As you say, he could be confused. But I think sometimes the females look just a little more slender, just a little more attractive.
Oh, okay.
The males tend to look a bit bulky. I think maybe with pigeons, the males may be slightly bigger. I don't know. If we've got an expert ornithologist watching us today, maybe they could tell us how you can tell the difference between a male and female pigeon. Maybe you have to ask the pigeon.
Yes. Well, I did mention a couple of days ago that there are many pigeons at the moment, and they are using our garden as a place where they get together. I've noticed a lot of that going on in the garden, and I do wish they would not do it right in front of my window. I really do. So if there are any pigeons watching at the moment, could you please fly away from my house and please stop doing what you are doing in front of my window. It is very distracting.
Bayoria Lou says, what is to pick off?
If you pick off, well, it means you take something away one by one. So maybe you have many things in one place. So if you pick off something, it means you are coming down or you are reaching and you are taking something away. You pick off.
Indiscriminately. Whereas if you pick out something, you are choosing something out of a range of options. Like you might have a number of dresses or shirts that you want to wear, and you decide which one you want to wear, which one do you pick out to wear. So you pick out something. But if you pick something off, it's normally referred to something like a predator with a group of animals that he's hunting, and he picks off one of them.
Yes.
It means he sort of grabs them randomly, the weakest one he can find.
You might actually think of maybe a lion looking for an antelope. So he
Yes.
will often pick off the weakest one, or the one
Yes.
that doesn't seem as strong as all the rest. So you pick off someone or something. And of course, as you said, Steve, to pick on or to choose something. So maybe you pick out or pick on. So you are choosing a particular thing from a group. So yes, thanks for helping me there, Steve, with that
Pick out
one.
a dress. Yes, you can, of course, pick on. If you pick on somebody, that means that you keep maybe criticising them all the time, or a bully may pick on a particular person
Yes.
to bully. It means that time after time they're going after that same person. If you pick on somebody, stop picking on me. It means that you could be, I may say to Mr. Duncan, he may be criticising me about something, and I might say, stop picking on me. Because it means that he's repeatedly criticising me. He doesn't. It's usually me criticising Mr. Duncan.
That's true.
So I would normally be picking on Mr. Duncan
That's true.
by criticising him for not, I don't know, something annoying like leaving his shoes lying around for me to trip up over. And I might pick on him and tell him, look, will you move these shoes out of the way? They're really annoying. And he might say, stop picking on me.
Yes. You are always picking on me. At school, maybe there's a child at school, maybe a boy or a girl, who is always picked on. So maybe the other children will be very unkind or cruel to one particular child. They are picking on one
Yes.
child. I
So
think
we've got pick out, pick off, and pick on.
Ooh,
So we've had 3.
Steve,
Yes.
we have forgotten something today, haven't we?
What's that?
It
You
is
mean
a-
the fact that it's Easter?
It is Easter.
Lots of people have said Happy Easter, so thank you, and Happy Easter to you too if you're celebrating it.
So
And-
we know what that means.
Chocolate.
Yes.
In a word, chocolate. Something interesting, I was talking to one of the neighbours earlier on today,
Okay.
obviously from a safe distance,
Yes.
and they had their daughter coming round to deliver some food to them, which of course is allowed because they'd run out of items. And I said, well, what have you run out of? And they said beer and chocolates,
Oh, I see.
essential items.
I would imagine a lot of people are doing the same thing at the moment. They are keeping their supplies of maybe alcohol. I would imagine a lot of people are using alcohol to keep themselves occupied, or maybe to keep themselves slightly, I want to say drunk, or maybe unconscious during these strange times. Not that we do that, Steve. The only thing we do is eat lots of chocolate, to be honest.
Which we will be doing later.
Ooh, yes.
Although we did purchase, well, I'll let you introduce it, Mr. Duncan.
Here it is, look. So here is the lovely Easter egg that Mr. Steve bought for me. Isn't that nice? There it is. Ooh. Ooh.
Yes, because that's chocolate, but it's mint flavoured, and Mr. Duncan does like mint chocolate.
I do. I like mint.
Now I went into a local shop
Yeah.
to buy this for Mr. Duncan, and but when I went in, it's very, I don't know, you're probably having the same experience that we are. It's very unnerving. That which another word for that could be unsettling. At the moment, going into a shop, because you're constantly aware of having to be near people who could be infected. So it makes you unnerved, and you can see other people acting in a strange way, avoiding you, things like that. Well, I saw this big stack of Easter eggs, and I thought, I've got to get one for Mr. Duncan. But instead of spending time choosing one, I was conscious that there were people moving around, and it was unnerving, so I just quickly grabbed this one. Luckily, Mr. Duncan likes it.
This is lovely.
I would have normally gone through them all and said, oh, will Mr. Duncan like that one? What about that one? No, maybe not. But I sort of went, oh, people around, grabbed it, went to the till and left.
Yes.
Mr. Duncan, I'm just realising that we haven't wiped the outside of that box.
Well, I did.
Oh, right.
Yes,
that's
I've
good.
cleaned this box. So when we bought this from the shops, I did actually get some water and some soap, and I've actually wiped the outside of this, so it is now nice and clean
clever.
and sterile as well.
The rain stopped, Mr. Duncan, so I
Good.
put the umbrella down.
Yes, good. You don't need the umbrella now.
I don't. Inigo says, you're in the same household, so you don't have to practice social distance. That is
yes.
true.
Yes.
That is true.
But what I want to do, Steve, is I want us to lead as an example.
Right.
Yes. So our behaviour, what we are doing, our social distancing, is also almost like an example of what other people might be doing, or maybe what they should be doing. So we are actually just showing that social distancing is possible. Even though Mr. Steve and myself, we are very close together, so we are keeping ourselves at a safe distance. And I hope you are as well, staying safe during this really weird, strange period of time.
But you're right, Inigo, we don't have to do that. And we're only doing it while we're today because we're on the live stream, but we won't be doing it later. We don't have to. We're just doing it for the live stream today.
Although, to be honest with you, I'm quite enjoying it.
I can still hear you though.
I'm quite. I'm rather enjoying having this safe distance between you and me, Steve.
So, yes, how did they just pass the umbrella? Well, Mr. Duncan walked over and gave it to me.
Yes.
But yes, we don't have to do it strictly, obviously, but we are just for this live stream today.
We are giving a good example.
Yes. And, well, has anybody been telling you, Mr. Duncan, in the last half an hour about their chocolate purchases?
Well, I was going to ask, what about you out there? What are you doing for Easter? I know not everyone celebrates Easter. I do understand that. However, what are you doing today? Are you doing something special? Maybe there is a certain type of food that you normally have at Easter. Because around the world, Steve, there are many different traditions that go with one particular festival. So Christmas is a good example as well. Christmas is celebrated in many different ways around the world. So what about you? How are you celebrating or observing Easter? Maybe you are not doing anything. So we are having our Easter eggs, and also we have, I believe, Steve, we still have some hot cross buns.
We do.
Ooh.
And later on I'm cooking something which is a traditional thing to cook at Easter. Well, sort of. Traditionally people would have a turkey. As at Christmas we would probably have a turkey, but we're having a chicken later.
Ooh,
so
okay.
Very rarely do we buy meat and cook it in the house, but we will today because it's Easter and it just feels a bit special. Interestingly, talking of birds, Mr. Duncan, Saturino has made an interesting comment, introducing a topical phrase at the moment. You've seen 2 partridges, but some parts of the world have been seeing a black swan.
Oh.
I think what Santorino means by that is a black swan event.
Okay.
Which have you heard of that expression, Mr. Duncan?
Well, something that is unusual, or something that is rare, or something that doesn't happen very often.
Totally unexpected event that has a very negative impact on people. So obviously we've got this virus that's come along, and that's being described as a black swan event, something that just came from nowhere, unexpected, unplanned for. So if you can just have these events in your life. I mean, if you had a car crash, for example, you could describe that as a black swan event. Just suddenly came from nowhere. You weren't planning it, you weren't expecting it. And of course, this pandemic is a black swan event.
Okay.
It's having, obviously, serious effects on the health of people.
I'm almost wondering
economy.
if you remember that I said we have to be careful what we say, but there you go.
Well, okay. Mr. Duncan is scalding me already.
I'm not. But you know what YouTube is like at the moment. They are punishing and banning everyone at the moment on here, so we have to be very careful what we say.
Flower Espoir says, we miss you. Thank you. And can you appear twice a week? Well, I may be able to, because I am effectively working from home at the moment. Well, I am not effectively. I am working from home.
You are. Even though at the moment you are actually taking well, in fact, Steve is on holiday.
I am this week, yes. Because there's something interesting. If you are being told by your employer at the moment that you must work from home, what guidance are they giving you in terms of taking holidays during this period? We've had advice, and they've told us that we need to take holiday. Even though we're at home, we still need to take that time off. Because if, for example, and a company, of course, are thinking about their business.
Yes.
And I could potentially not be seeing customers for 2, 3, 4 months.
Yes. Who knows, Steve?
That's right. So, well, for example, I haven't taken any holiday this year yet. But if I didn't go back to work, if this social distancing and lockdown didn't end until August, for example, then I'd have all my year's holiday to take in only, say, 6 months of the year. And the company don't want us to do that because they're already needing to catch up on what business has been lost. And then if you suddenly take all your year's holiday allocation in 6 months instead of spreading it out over 12, then that will have an impact on the business. So I quite agree with that and understand it. So they've asked us to take pro rata our holiday off
Okay.
up to the period when we go back to work.
So when you say pro rata, what does that mean?
Yeah, so for example, if you get 20 days holiday a year,
Okay.
if you divided that up into the months, it would be, well, say you got 24 days holiday a year, that would be 2 days holiday a month. So after 6 months, that would be 12 days. So that's pro rata. That means it's Latin. I can't remember what it stands for. Someone will tell me. So if you say pro rata, you've got to take your pro rata holiday in 6 months, and it was 2 days holiday a month, that would be 12 days. So you've got to take it, the holiday that's due to you over that period. You say that's quite a common phrase to use. So for example, if you started a new job halfway through the year, you wouldn't expect to get a full year's holiday. So the new company that you work for would say to you, well, over the year we'd give you, say, 24 days, but you've only now worked for us for 6 months, so you'll take half of it. Does that explain that, Mr. Duncan?
You lost me at let me answer this question.
I
So
think people
I think
understand.
pro rata means divided equally or equally over the year, or
Yes,
something like that. It
divided
means
equally.
it's divided equally over a period of time.
Take the right proportion.
Yes. Okay, that's lovely. Very nice. We have some Easter traditions. Apparently in Russia, Easter will be next week because, of course, you don't follow the Gregorian calendar, you follow your own. So because there is a slight delay, as it were, that's why Christmas in certain parts of the world, Steve, is also celebrated at different times as well.
Yes,
apparently
we don't
they're-
appreciate that.
Olga says, today we will bring home branches of blooming willow. So
Right.
there is one of them. I have a feeling that might be some sort of religious symbolism. I think so.
Branches of willow.
Yes.
Yes. Well, it's yes, that's right. Well, I wonder if that's similar to Palm Sunday, where you would traditionally sort of bring palm leaves in. Sometimes we do that in this country. We don't anymore, but I think we used to. So it must be similar.
I think Palm Sunday was last Sunday.
Yes,
Last Sunday was Palm Sunday, and this Sunday is Easter Sunday.
that's right.
The interesting thing about Easter, of course, is it's always on different days. On Sunday, of course, it's always on Sunday, but it always moves around from month to month. So it's a couple of years ago, I think it was on the 30th of March. And of course, this year, because Sunday is not always falling on the same date or the same date of the month, so it does vary from year to year. So this year, here in the UK, it is the 12th of April. Easter Day is today.
Saturino says that another phrase with pick in it is pick through.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so if you were to pick through something, that means you're sort of sorting through it. So you might have a bunch of clothes and you would pick through them, and just means you're sort of looking at them, sorting them out maybe. So pick through, that's a good expression.
Yes.
So you might pick through some clothes and then pick out something from that collection that you've got.
You might be surprised, Steve, to find out just how many uses of the word pick there are in the English language. We might do that one week. That might be a
might.
good one. We might have a list of words that relate to the word pick, and there are loads, in fact. There are loads. To choose something is a very common use of the word pick. So quite often we will pick something, or we will choose something. You pick something. I want that Easter egg. I will pick that one.
Yes.
I have chosen it. I picked that one. I chose it.
You might win a prize, and there is a selection of prizes. So you might go to the fair, and you might win something, and somebody will say to you, "Well, pick out a prize." So there could be a group of prizes, so you pick one out. Konstantin Mikhailov is having a very good Easter today. Managed to drink a whole bottle of wine earlier today.
Dear.
So well done.
Yes.
I'm very jealous.
So I'm sure you are having a very happy Easter Sunday.
Talking of drinking,
Uh-huh.
I need to have a glass of water, Mr.
Oh, I see.
Duncan.
Are you a little bit thirsty, Steve?
A little parched.
That's
parched.
okay.
That means I'm a bit dehydrated, a bit dry, because I've been sanding away. Mr. Duncan probably doesn't know, but I've been preparing to do some painting.
Well, I did hear.
He did hear.
I could hear the noise.
Ah, yes. So I've been sanding down. We've got some steps at the front of our house, which the front are painted, and it's all coming off. So I thought, well, that's normally Mr. Duncan's job, but he's so busy at the moment. Painting, of course, is Mr. Duncan's job. He's very good at it. He used to be a painter and decorator, painted most of our house when we moved in, but he's so busy with these live streams at the moment, then I'm afraid I've got to do it.
Yes. I'm a busy bee. But I'm sure you will do a good job of it, Steve. I hope you do a better job than you did of the garage doors.
Let's not talk about the garage doors, Mr. Duncan.
Let's not talk about the garage doors and when Steve tried to paint the garage doors and what happened. It was a disaster.
Let's just say it's a good idea not to try and rush jobs and say to yourself, "Oh, I've got an hour to do that." When if you thought about it seriously, the job probably would take you... Well, what it was getting dark.
Okay.
And I thought, oh, I know I can probably just fit in that little job of painting the garage doors. And what happened was I just did it too quickly and put too much paint on. And it went dark. And the next morning we came down, it was run everywhere.
Yes.
So
what Mr. Steve actually did, you rushed it. But
I
also
rushed it.
You put too much paint on the door. So all of the paint, because the paint was wet, it was starting to run down the door. And the next morning, it looked absolutely awful. So I had to take all of that paint off, and then I did it. And I'm sure you will agree, Steve, I did a much better job of it.
I just rushed it. Just shows you should never rush jobs.
We were looking at some words earlier, Steve. We've got some more now. Would you like to have a look at some unusual English words? This is something I did a few days ago, and I'm going to look at some words. So I'm going to show them on the screen. I will say them as well. I will speak the word as well, so Mr. Steve can hear it, because he can't see the screen because there isn't a screen. We have no monitors today.
You can see the live chat though, because you provided a nice phone for me.
That's it. So Steve is using my old Samsung phone, and I'm using my iPhone to monitor everything. However, there is about a 30-second delay. So 30 seconds between us speaking and something happening. So you can't use it as a monitor. So here we go. Here are some great words. Here is the first one. Maybe you can see that, Steve.
Peruse.
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 Peruse is an interesting word, I think. Peruse.
Oh, yes.
Yes. If you peruse, it means you look carefully through something. You peruse. So you might peruse a magazine. You might peruse through a library. So you are looking carefully or closely at things one by one. You are observing something closely. Peruse. So there is the first word. I think that's a very unusual word. Have you ever come across this word, Steve?
I have, yes. So you might peruse through a document. So if you've got something to read that's got technical information in it, you might peruse it, and you give it a good look through and see if there's any mistakes in it. But yes, it's a word that's not used very often these days. I'm trying to think of another use of the word.
Well, that is the use of the word, yes, to look closely or carefully as you browse something. Well, we do use it a lot these days, especially when you are maybe looking on the internet for something. You might peruse the internet. You might go to a certain web page and peruse the web page. You are looking through the web page or the web site, and you are looking at what is there or what is available on that website. You peruse. So I like that word. I like that word very much. I think that's a nice word, peruse. You look carefully, closely, and you examine something carefully. But normally it means you are looking at several things or many things. You peruse a magazine. You look through it. Here's another one, Steve, because that's what we're doing today. It is English Addict on Sunday, the 12th of April, 2020. I'm sure there will be many, many people for many, many years remembering this year for all the wrong reasons. Here is another word, Steve.
Shirk.
There it is.
Shirk.
Shirk. I like that word. Shirk. Any idea, Steve?
Shirk, that means to not do something that you should do. So if you're shirking your duties, it means that you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And of course, Mr. Duncan does this all the time. I'm only joking. But yes, if you shirk something, it means you don't do something that you're supposed to do. Is that right, Mr. Duncan?
Yes. So maybe you're avoiding doing something. You are trying not to do it. You shirk something, or you pretend that you don't have to do it. You avoid something. You shirk. We often say that a person might shirk their responsibilities.
Yes.
So they shirk them. They avoid being responsible for something. You might shirk your duties or shirk your responsibility. So that is one way of using the word shirk. I like that one. So we are looking at some unusual words today, some very strange words indeed.
Can I make a couple of comments?
You can.
Maria Giovanna La Rosa has said that she's had a very big dark chocolate egg.
Ah.
Dark chocolate.
Very nice.
My mother likes dark chocolate. But I like it as well, but not in an Easter egg. But interesting that you've consumed a whole egg. I've had a couple of people saying that they like my hat. So thank you for that. This hat is called a Tilley hat. Tilley. It's made in Canada. They sell them here in the UK, probably all over the world. And it's my favourite hat because it keeps the sun off, it keeps the rain off, and it's very well made. So you look it up, Tilley, made in Canada.
Yes.
If anybody wants to know. They're quite expensive, but they last forever. And the other strange thing about this hat is that if you lose it, then you can phone the company and they'll send you a new one.
Wow.
Which I think is... So it's got a lifetime guarantee against you losing it, against it being damaged or wearing out. They're so confident in the quality of this hat that they're willing to replace it. But of course, it hasn't shown the slightest sign of wear.
No.
And I've had it for about 10 years.
I think it's safe to say that the quality of that hat is actually very high. And I love the part. So Steve, if you are walking through a forest, or maybe if you are on a cruise ship, I know not at the moment, you won't be on a cruise ship at the moment, but if you are on a cruise ship and you lean over the edge and your hat blows away and goes off into the sea, you can actually write to the company and they will give you a new hat.
They will. They're quite expensive, but I like to buy quality things that are expensive that will last me, hopefully, a lifetime. Look at this top I've got on here, Mr. Duncan. I used this in the garden. I've had it for about 15 years, at least, and it's barely showing any signs of wear.
You used to wear that rugby jersey when we first met.
Yes, I've had it for years. I've got 3 or 4 rugby shirts, and they're very good quality. Well, I bought them from Gap, not this one.
Okay.
And they don't sell them anymore, which I'm very disappointed about. But anyway, let's not go into that.
No.
You've got more words to do, Mr. Duncan.
Yeah, but that actual rugby jersey, it's a rugby top, isn't it? That is actually over 30 years old, and it still looks. I think it still looks quite good, to be honest.
I wouldn't go out in it socialising.
No.
But in the garden, it's fine.
No,
because I like it. It's warm, and I can put the collar up.
Yeah.
And it stops the sun getting on my neck because I
Incredible.
don't want an aging, wrinkling neck. So I want to stay out of the sun.
Yeah.
Luckily, Mr. Duncan's plonked me here. Me here. So
That's a good word.
That's a good word. Plonk.
Plonk.
If you plonk something down, it means you put something down really without any care.
Yes.
Without any care, you haven't really thought about it. Oh, let's put Mr. Steve there. That'll do. Plonk him down.
Yes.
But luckily, the sun isn't out, because if it was, the sun would be streaming in, and I would be aging from the UV light.
Well.
Mind you, having said that, it would be good for the virus, because the virus will be killed off probably.
Could you just say that word a few more times?
Well, it's a generic term, isn't it?
Yes. Okay then. Dear.
Lots of people have eaten their eggs already. Francesca says that she's had her egg and eaten all of it. We haven't had any yet.
No. So later on we are having a beautiful roast dinner. Mr. Steve will be making a roast dinner, and we will be having Easter egg later on, some chocolate Easter egg. Of course, some people like milk chocolate. Some people like dark chocolate. So quite often dark chocolate has more flavour. Would you say, Steve?
It's got it's less sweet. So there's a higher proportion of the cocoa bean in there.
Yes.
Typically 70%, whereas milk chocolate's only about 30% cocoa bean, and the rest of it's sugar and fat. So with dark chocolate you get a more concentrated form of chocolate, but of course it's not popular with everyone because it's more bitter, because the bean, the cocoa bean on its own is quite bitter, so which is why milk chocolate's got lots of sugar in it to sort of disguise the flavour. But some people like dark chocolate. My mother likes it, and of course you get a lot more of the goodness. You can feel healthier, I think, eating dark chocolate, because you've got more of the natural bean there and less sugar. And I mean, chocolate gets a bit of a bad name sometimes.
Does it?
Yes, because if you have too much of anything, it will make you put on weight.
That's it.
But dark chocolate means you can enjoy the benefits of chocolate, because there's lots of vitamins and minerals, because it's a natural product in effect.
Yes. Anyway.
So yes, dark chocolate is for people who well, it's just a personal choice, isn't it?
Yeah. So some people like dark chocolate, milk chocolate. I think I prefer milk chocolate. I also like chocolate that has different flavours, such as mint. However, the egg that we have now is milk chocolate. However, the small chocolates that come with the egg are actually milk chocolate on the outside, but inside they have mint. Ooh, and I like the flavour of mint very much, a lot. I really do like it. Would you like another word, Steve?
Yes, now I've got to speak a bit clearer, because one or two people have said that they are finding it difficult to understand my accent.
It's okay.
So I'm going to speak a little. I think I've got a tendency to rush my words.
Sometimes when you're trying to express yourself, you get very excited, but it's okay. It is good for training you're listening. I think so. So if you are watching this and you are thinking, sometimes I can't understand Mr. Steve, I can't understand what he's saying, but that is a good way of improving your listening. So listening to two different accents, Steve and also myself, we do speak differently. However, it can be very good for your listening skills. Here we go, Steve. Here's another word.
Cajole.
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 I like this one.
Cajole.
Cajole.
Yes, that means you try and persuade somebody to do something. Maybe they were reluctant to do something, but you try and encourage them.
Yes.
Maybe a bit subversively.
Yes.
You cajole them. You persuade, usually with words, kind words. But yes, so I might cajole Mr. Duncan into painting the steps that need painting at the front of the house. But I might say to Mr. Duncan, oh, I know you're busy, Mr. Duncan, but you're so very good at painting. You're much better than me.
That's true.
And you know what happened when I did the garage doors? It was a disaster. And we've got people coming and, you want the house to look nice and presentable when people approach the front door. So, Mr. Duncan, I think you should do that painting. And you might say, well, I haven't got time to do it. And I might say, yes, but you're so good at it, Mr. Duncan. You're the best. Nobody's as good as you.
So to use flattery.
Yes.
You are using flattery. You are using kind words to persuade someone to do something. And maybe that person doesn't really want to do it. So you have to cajole them. I love that word. It's such an unusual word.
You might use your charm and sense of humour. And or maybe your looks to try and get somebody to do something, because as we know, quite often more attractive people find it easier to persuade people to do things for them. And manipulative. You could say that you might be manipulated into doing something against your will, but probably not something bad.
Yes.
Probably something.
Cajole can also refer to using insincerity as well to get something.
Right.
So that was I like that word, cajole. So maybe a person who doesn't want to do a task or a job, and you have to say nice things to them because you want them to do it. Now here's another word, Steve. I'm sure you will recognise this word because you've used it a lot over the years.
Oh.
I wonder if you can guess what the word is.
I've used it a lot over the years. I don't know. I've used a lot of words over many years. Is it starting to rain again, Mr. Duncan?
I think it's spitting. It is spitting. It is spitting of
So
rain.
just to be on the safe side, I'll put the umbrella back up.
Good.
I don't know what that word could be. Is it a word? Is it a controversial word?
It isn't controversial, but it is a word that you sometimes use, especially when you've been walking or sometimes when you go running.
Sprain.
Oh.
I can see it, Mr. Duncan.
Okay.
Sprain.
I didn't think you could see the word. Oh, yes, sprain. So
right.
There is a word that Mr. Steve uses quite often when one of his ankles is hurting. So sometimes Mr. Steve will sprain his ankle or maybe his shoulder. So when you sprain something, you overstretch a muscle. You make the muscle go too far or further than it should. Or maybe you make the muscle or the tendon, which joins onto the muscle, you stretch it more than it should. So you sprain your ankle, you sprain your shoulder, you pull your shoulder too far. And sometimes, Mr. Steve, you will sprain yourself, won't you?
Yes, we used to use this phrase when I was at school quite a lot because girls who want to look fashionable, at least when I was going to school, would often wear very high-heeled shoes. And of course, you ladies there will know that if you're wearing high heel shoes, there's always a danger that that the heel will go into a gap in the pavement, and it'll pull your ankle, stretch your ankle over.
Ooh.
And that'll be very painful, and you will sprain your ankle.
Ow.
So you will cause some. When you do a sprain, it's a relatively minor injury.
Yes.
As you say, you pull the tendons or the muscles further than they were supposed to go, or the joint, and it will need a bit of a rest. Maybe needs a bandage around it for a few weeks for it to recover. So you haven't broken anything or torn anything.
No. So it isn't a serious injury.
No, it's as Mr. Duncan said, you sort of stretched the joint beyond the movement that it should do. And ankles are the most common thing,
Yes.
I would say, that you could sprain.
You know what I always find fascinating, Steve, is how people who are professional athletes and people who are sports people, sports women or sportsmen, they often injure themselves. Now, you would imagine, if a person is an athlete, you would imagine that they would not injure themselves. However, you often find that athletes or people in certain sports like tennis will often end up with some sort of serious injury. So even people who are athletic and very fit can quite often injure themselves.
Yes, because there are limits to what the human body can do. And if you are constantly exercising, if you're a professional athlete, particularly, and you're exercising and training up to the maximum ability that your body can do, then there's always the risk that you will break something, strain something. But of course, people who aren't good athletes can do that quite easily. You can go for a jog and then you can trip up over a pavement and injure yourself.
Yes.
So yes, ankle strains
Yes.
are the commonest part of your body to injure in that way.
Yes. There was Andy Murray. Andy Murray is a very famous tennis player, and he always seems to have difficulty with certain parts of his body. I think his back. Do you remember last year? He was out of tennis for ages because he was suffering all sorts of back problems. And in fact, I think at one point, he was in danger of actually never being able to play tennis again, I think. But as I understand it, he's actually recovered. But it is amazing how even athletes, even professional athletes who are very healthy and fit, even they can strain themselves. They can cause a problem with their muscles, their shoulder, their ankles. Lots of things can go wrong, even if you are trained in a particular sport. Would you like to look at another word?
Yes, we've got lots of uses of pick coming up on here. Anna says, is there a phrase picking order? I think you're thinking of pecking order. Pecking order, P-E-C-K-I-N-G. Would that be right, Mr. Duncan?
Pecking order. Yes. And that refers, as I understand it, that refers to animals, maybe chickens. So in the order that they actually eat or feed. So you have a certain hierarchy or a certain level of authority. So from the top to the bottom, it is the pecking order. It's a great expression. So yes, it's P-E-C-K-I-N-G, pecking.
So if you work for a company,
like a animal.
If you work for a company, then you join a company, you might want to know what is the pecking order. So the top boss is normally the one that would be the most important, so he would be the top person.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it does refer, I think it comes from animals, and obviously dominant animals will get to the food first, and so they're at the top of the pecking order. So they go first because they're dominant, and that's the same in human society. Usually in companies, if you were all sitting around for a meal, or then the person, the most important person, like the boss, would probably be served first, and then maybe the person under him, his deputy, and then maybe an important secretary, and then everybody else would be last. So yes, pecking order, the order in which something takes place.
Yes, that's
from
it.
top to bottom.
Yes.
Pecking order in society. You can talk about a pecking order in society. Who has the most benefits in society? Usually the richest, maybe MPs, doctors. They get most of the benefits in society. So a pecking order.
So if you were at a dinner party, the important guest, the most important person there, would sit at the head of the table. They would be the special person. So pecking order quite often exists in society. You might describe class as well. People who have different classes as a type of pecking order. Very good. Here's another one. Now here's an interesting one, Steve, because a lot of political things are going on at the moment across in the United States. We won't talk too much about it, but here is an interesting word. I'm going to put it on the screen, and I will show it to Steve as well.
Oh, gerrymander.
Gerrymander.
I'll let you explain that, Mr. Duncan.
It's an interesting word, often used in politics, and this is something that first occurred many years ago. I believe it was in around 1810 in the United States, and this particular word means to change the boundary of a political voting area, so an area in which a certain group of people can vote for that particular zone or area. You actually change the actual voting location or the area or the boundary. So the surrounding boundary is changed to favour a certain political party. It's an interesting word, and it's one you might hear a lot. You gerrymander. So you alter, you change the boundary of a certain voting location to give a particular political party the advantage.
So it's almost like cheating.
It is a kind of cheating, yes.
Yes.
But it does happen a lot, apparently, in the United States. Over history, it has happened a lot. So one of the first recorded instances of gerrymandering was in 1810. And the reason why this word exists is because the first area that was altered resembled a salamander. And the person who introduced this first boundary change, his name was Jerry. Did you know that, Steve?
I didn't.
No. So to gerrymander is to change the political boundary or the voting boundary. And the first time it happened, it was done by a guy called Jerry. And the boundary that was changed apparently looked like a salamander. Hence, gerrymander. I'm not joking. Sometimes the origins of words are very strange indeed. But it is true. You can check it. I'm sure you will.
Sergio says that today it's the Cosmonautics Day. Sergio must be Russian. I'm guessing you're Russian, Sergio. I'm sure I remember that you were. And you're celebrating, I'm guessing that's Yuri Gagarin making his glorious flight in 1961.
Wow.
Well, a lot of fantastic things happened in 1961. We won't refer to my birth year at all.
I was going to say some terrible things happened in 1961. Some really awful things happened in 1961, such as this guy popping into the world. I wasn't sure what I was going to say then. I almost said something very rude.
So they're celebrating celebrating Easter next week in Russia.
That's it. So there is a slight difference because of the calendar that is actually followed. Here's another interesting word. This is something I do quite often. And sometimes I think Steve does it as well. So here is the next word.
Procrastinate.
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 I love this word. If you procrastinate, what does it mean, Steve?
It means that you put off doing something. So perhaps you've got some tasks that you want to do. You might have a list of them. But you manage to distract yourself. Say, for example, you want to cut the grass in the garden. You want to put some plants in. And you say, right, I'm going to do this today. But then you manage to distract yourself by watching the internet, watching television, doing something else, and then the next day comes and then you manage to maybe go round and see a friend, not at the moment obviously, but yes, procrastinate means to put off doing something that you should do.
Yes. And
of course we all do this, particularly if it's an unpleasant task, particularly if it's something you don't want to do particularly.
Exactly. Yes.
I think that's the key fact there.
Yes.
So it might be some chores, it might be, like gardening if you don't like gardening,
Yes.
or something you don't like doing and you put off doing it.
Yes.
That would be procrastination. And it's actually, I think it's almost a medical problem. I've read somewhere, I might be wrong there, but I've read somewhere that it can cause quite difficulties for you if you keep putting off doing tasks which need to be done, and you don't do them. So yes, what do you procrastinate about, Mr. Duncan?
Procrastinate. I sometimes put off doing work connected to writing scripts. I sometimes put off things that I don't want to do. So you put off the thing that you don't want to do.
Usually it could be something that in the end you have to do it because you're forced to do it, because whatever that thing was that you were supposed to do, it's now suddenly become quite urgent, and that if you didn't do it you might get into trouble at work, or it might result in something happening that you didn't want to happen. So in the end you may be forced to do it. I mean, making plans
Yes.
to do something is quite often, nobody really likes planning in advance, but so you might put that off. You might put off paying a bill until you absolutely have to.
Yes.
Yes, procrastinate. It's something that we all suffer from.
I'm getting some strange, interesting comments on the live chat. I'm surprised you haven't noticed some of the comments. Cap Devi says you both look like Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau in The Odd Couple, fighting each other, but really loving each other as well at the same time. Thank you. But the big question is, which one is Jack Lemmon and which one is Walter Matthau? I hope Mr. Steve is Walter Matthau, because he's the old grumpy one.
That's me. How about shun? Palmyra says the word shun.
Ooh, that's a good
Is
word.
it the same as shirk?
Shun. Well, if you shun something, it means you push away or you push something aside. You might shun your family. You push them away. You ignore them. You pretend they don't exist. You shun something. You push something away. Shun. I like that one. Very good. That's a good word.
So it is different, very different to shirk.
Nancy says, Mr. Duncan, I have grown fond of your lovely live stream so much. And now here in Sao Paulo, Brazil, we are under some very peculiar happenings. And we are afraid not to be able to continue watching you. I hope I am wrong. Well, I will stay here as long as I can. I'm here every day. Mr. Steve is here sometimes, not always. So quite often on Sunday, Steve will join me. But don't worry, I will be with you every day during this strange period of time. The internet should be all right. I know in certain countries the internet is being used a lot more. So a lot of people, or more people, are having difficulty viewing things on the internet. So I will try my best to be with you every single day. I will try my best.
So many people saying that they like dark chocolate.
Oh,
And it's quite difficult to get a dark chocolate egg. It is in the UK.
you're right.
You don't tend to see them. I didn't see one this year. A dark chocolate egg. I didn't see one. It's very difficult to get them here. You can buy dark chocolate in a bar. That's quite easy. But dark chocolate eggs, I don't think they make many in the UK. You've got to really hunt for them, search for them.
Yes. Well, I always get the feeling that dark chocolate isn't actually all that popular. But if you go abroad, you will find dark chocolate is more available. So maybe it's a British thing. Maybe it's us. Maybe we prefer the taste of dark milk chocolate, and we actually don't like dark chocolate. So maybe it is all about the British taste of chocolate.
And I would imagine a dark chocolate egg is more expensive to make because there's more of the cocoa bean in it. So maybe we're not prepared to spend the extra money here in the UK.
Yes, it can be more expensive. You're right. So we are looking at some strange words in the English language. Don't forget, you can have the captions as well. For those who don't realise, you can press C on your keyboard, press beep C, and you will have captions during the live stream. So if you want to look at what we are saying, if you want to read the words on the screen, you can press C dip, on your keyboard. Or you can adjust the settings on your mobile device as well. Activate the captions. Here's another one, Steve. This is something Steve sometimes does as well.
Dawdle.
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 Dawdle or dawdle. Yes. That means that you're hanging around. You're not really going anywhere particular. You're you're not doing anything definite. You're sort of hanging about, really, dawdling, not doing anything specific. You've got no real purpose. You might say a group of youths were dawdling in the park.
Yes.
They were just sort of hanging around. Is that right, Mr. Duncan?
That's it. If you hang around, you wait in a certain place. You're not really doing anything. You are just waiting around. You are hanging around. You are waiting in a certain place. You dawdle. You dawdle. Or maybe if you are walking with some friends, maybe you are walking too slowly, and perhaps they will say, "Come on, stop dawdling." And that's because you are slowing down. Maybe you keep stopping as you are walking. So to stop, to be doing nothing in particular, you are waiting around, you dawdle.
Yes, that's a good use of the word. If you're out with a group of friends or just with one other person and you're going for a walk somewhere, you might be in the town centre somewhere, and one person in the group is sort of not keeping up with you. You would say, "Oh, stop dawdling and keep up with me." So they're I don't know, looking in shop windows or not really paying much attention. They don't really want to be with you, and you get annoyed because they're not keeping up with you. So you accuse them of dawdling, sort of aimlessly not keeping up and you know, being annoying. Yes, a couple of people want to know if there's anything inside your Easter egg. Is there a surprise inside?
The actual egg. Well, this is the egg, so that is empty. It is hollow. So the egg itself is actually hollow. It is empty. So there's nothing inside there. It is just a chocolate egg. However, at the top, there are some beautiful mint chocolates. So on the outside, there is milk chocolate, and on the inside, it's mint. So the flavour is mint. And of course, you can tell by the box. So the box is green, and quite often we will use green to show the flavour of mint. So there you can see, this is the thing we will be eating later, after we have had Mr. Steve's delicious roast meal, traditional Easter Sunday roast meal with some chicken, vegetables, carrots, gravy, mashed potatoes. I can't wait. And then later we will be eating this Easter egg as well, because it is Easter Sunday.
Yes, I don't know whether children... I remember when I was growing up, when I was a child, there was always a surprise inside the egg. But I think for adults, I don't think they tend to put anything inside. Maybe children still get surprises inside their eggs. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you used to get as a child a big chocolate egg, and inside there were lots of miniature ones wrapped in foil.
Yes.
That was the common thing to get when I was growing up. So, isn't there something called a Kinder Surprise?
There is a Kinder Surprise. That's a German brand of chocolate egg, and inside there is normally a toy. Something plastic inside, which I've always been amazed that they allowed that they have a small Easter egg and inside there is a plastic toy, because you're giving that to a child. So I wonder how often a child will bite into their Kinder Surprise and then they will get a nasty surprise, which is a toy that is choking them to death.
Lewis asks a question about cajole.
Yes.
Is it insincere?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're trying to persuade somebody to do something.
Yes.
Against their will. So
Yes.
you could say that it was insincere.
Yes, because you are saying anything, you are saying whatever it takes. You are trying to get that person to do something, so you cajole them. You use flattery. You
Yes.
use nice words and compliments to try and get them to do the thing that you want them to do. But quite often those things, those compliments, those nice words are just insincere because you don't really mean them.
Julie says, is it the same as persuade?
It is kind of, yes. You are trying. The goal is to persuade someone to change their mind. So, yes, it is a form of persuasion.
But maybe a more insincere form.
Yes.
Because if you were trying to persuade somebody to do something, you would probably be more sincere in what you were saying. Whereas if you were cajoling somebody, yes, it's sort of insincere flattery you might use, maybe to get somebody to do something.
You're right, yes. We will be going in 10 minutes. Can you believe, Steve? We have been here. Well, I've been here for nearly 1 hour and 50 minutes. So, yes, I've been here for quite a while. But I will be back tomorrow. For those wondering, I am with you every day. If it is your first time here and you don't know what this is, my name is Duncan. And what I do is I teach English on YouTube. And today I am joined by Mr. Steve in the garden. So we are coming to you live from England at the moment, from the garden, during this very strange time.
Constantine says, is sprain the same as twist? It's similar, but twist literally means something twisting.
Ooh.
So a twist means something... That's the movement for a twist, isn't it?
So you twist your ankle. But maybe twisting your ankle can cause a sprain.
Yes, exactly.
So the action of twisting your ankle, if you slip or stumble, especially you ladies, I know what you ladies are like, you women with your high-heeled shoes, you like to walk around with your kitten heels, walking around the streets looking very glamorous, but sometimes your foot will slip and you might twist your ankle or sprain your ankle, which is the injury.
So technically they're not the same, but yes, twist is an action, isn't it?
So you twist your ankle, you sprain your ankle, you stretch the muscles in your ankle too much, and it causes a lot of pain and injury, of course.
There are so many messages, I can't keep up with them, Mr. Duncan.
It is a busy day.
Few people have commented about Boris Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Recovery. And somebody asked that said that he was praising earlier that he was praising our health service here and asked us what we think. Well, don't get me on that subject.
No, we will avoid that anyway, because it's a very... We have to be careful. It's a very delicate time. Everyone's emotions are running very high. People are getting very passionate about all of these subjects.
The time for recriminations will be later.
Okay, anyway, Steve, we will leave that there. However, yes, our Prime Minister is now out of danger, and he is coming out of... I believe he is coming out of hospital. I'm not sure if it's today. I don't think it's today. Here's another word, Steve.
Lollygag?
Yes, very similar to the last word, dawdle. If you
lollygag? I've never heard of that word, Mr. Duncan.
I love this word. If you lollygag, it means you hang around. You dawdle. You wait in a certain place, or maybe you waste time. Sometimes you waste time by just standing around, doing nothing. You lollygag. I love this word. I think this word is brilliant. It is a real word, by the way. And that's what we're doing. We're looking at some strange English words. Lollygag. To hang around. Dawdle. You are not moving quickly enough. You lollygag. I think that's great. I like that word a lot.
There's somebody called Lolly Lolly on at the moment from France.
Yes.
So maybe they like that particular word.
Oh, maybe. Lolly Lolly. Of course, the word lolly can also mean money as well. It is a slang term for money. So if you say, I have lots of lolly, it means you have lots of money. So maybe you have a lot of lolly. You have a lot of money. I like that one. Hello, Helena. Hello also. Yes, oh, Francesca. The word Kinder is German. Yes, it is. It means child. So Kinder is a German word that means child. But there is a brand of chocolate called Kinder. And they make a certain type of egg, which is made of chocolate. And inside there is actually a plastic toy. And as I said earlier, I'm always surprised that there aren't more children biting into their egg and then having a mouth full of plastic. I'm always surprised by that. Not even native speakers know these strange words, says Lil. I have heard of lollygag. I've heard of it.
I've never heard of it, Mr. Duncan.
Okay.
I think you've made it up.
Really? No, I haven't made it up. It's a real word.
I'm only joking.
Check it out. You can check it out.
Maria Rosa likes mint chocolate, so you've got a companion there when it comes to the flavour of chocolate.
I do. I like mint chocolate and also orange chocolate. So things that have a particular taste or flavour. So mint chocolate or orange chocolate. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Tanya. Hello, Tanya. Nice to see you here. And hello to everybody. Great to see you. Welcome to the live chat. I will be going soon, but you can hang around for a few more moments. Don't forget this live stream will be played again later. YouTube will save this live stream and you can watch it again later on with captions as well. Don't forget also, can I just say, you are also welcome to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe if you like what you see. Give me a lovely thumbs up. And you can subscribe as well. That would be ever so nice. I would appreciate that quite a lot.
People are saying that they're watching television and live from the UK. Apparently Boris Johnson is leaving hospital as we speak.
Okay.
I'm not going to make any comment.
Good. I'm very pleased to hear that, Steve.
Let's just say I'm not a fan.
Okay, that's
I'll leave it at that.
Yep. Okay then. And that's it. That's all Mr. Steve is going to say about that.
Well, someone's put here.
Yes?
Sergi says that lollygag also means to copulate.
No. No. It doesn't mean that. No, definitely not. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Today is my birthday, says Tanya. Really? Hello, Tanya. Tanya Tarasevich. Hello to Tanya. And can I say happy birthday to you? Happy birthday to Tanya.
Oh, someone's upset the dogs.
Who let the dogs out?
You can probably hear that. We do have some neighbours. Well, most of the neighbours have got dogs, but some have noisier dogs than others.
Would it be fair to say, Steve, that we are the only people here that don't own a dog?
I think we are.
I think we are.
I think we are indeed.
Every other person around this particular neighbourhood, they all own at least one dog. We don't have a dog, do we, Steve?
No, I'd like one, but when Maria says yes, the sun is coming out, and I think I'll use the umbrella again because I don't want to get sunburnt. I don't want to age prematurely with the effects of UV radiation on my beautiful skin.
Okay. I think it might be too late for that, Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Well, I'm glad the rain stayed off. Somebody said, "What are you doing after this live stream?" Well, we're doing what we usually do, is having a hot crust bun and a cup of tea.
I know.
And then I'm going to be killing off the moss
Okay.
on the lawn, because it is really suffered through the wet winter. And if I don't treat it, then we won't have the grass coming back, and it'll be thick moss and there'll be no grass left.
So behind me, you can actually see the grass behind me. So there it is. There is the lawn, the grass behind me. And later on, Steve will be treating that lawn. He will be putting something on the grass that will help to get rid of the moss. If you have a lot of grass in your garden, sometimes you can get other things growing as well, such as moss. And quite often moss is not such an attractive thing to have in your grass. So that's what Steve is doing later. He's going to put some special solution, some special things on the grass. And as I remember, Steve, you have to have a certain amount of rain later on as well.
Yes, so when you apply this, well, it's a chemical. I don't like putting sort of chemicals on the ground, on the lawn, but there's no other way of getting rid of it really, unless I was to go over it with a rake and scrape it all out. Well, that would be back-breaking and would probably take a long time to do. All right on a small patch of lawn, but not on the size of the lawn we've got here. So you have to have some rain to water it in. They're fine little granules, and if it doesn't rain within 2 days, you have to sprinkle the lawn with a hose. So I'm timing it to do it today because it says it's going to rain later. So what are you doing later, Mr. Duncan, apart from eating chocolate?
Later on, I am going to have, well, first of all, I'm going to have a hot cross bun on Easter Day, because it's Easter, you see. And then, Mr. Steve, I believe you are going into the kitchen to prepare a lovely roast dinner, roast chicken we are having today with vegetables, gravy, everything. And then later on, I'm hoping that I will be sitting down watching an episode of Columbo, and quite likely I will be eating the Easter egg that Mr. Steve bought for me this morning. He gave it to me. He said, "Mr. Duncan, here it is. Something for Easter. A lovely chocolate egg." So that's what I'm doing later on.
Well, is it time to go, Mr. Duncan?
It is almost time to say goodbye. It is almost time to say au revoir. We have one more word. Would you like to see another word, Steve?
One more word, Mr. Duncan.
I'm trying to find it. Here it is. So here is the final word, and this is a good word because it relates to what is about to happen. Here is the next word, and the final word.
Skedaddle.
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 Yes. If you skedaddle, What does it mean?
It means you exit. It means that you run off, or you go off enthusiastically, I would say. You go away from somewhere enthusiastically. Would you say that, Mr.
Yes,
Duncan?
you rush off, you leave
Rush
in a
off.
hurry, you suddenly go, or maybe you leave because you realise that you have something urgent that you have to do, like making Mr. Steve and Mr. Duncan a cup of tea and a tea cake, which I believe is your job, Steve.
Well, I've got to do everything. I've got to do the garden, I've got to do the painting,
Yes?
and now I've got to make the tea and the tea cake.
Well, you keep telling me, you keep complaining, Steve, you keep saying, I've got nothing to do, and now you have lots of things to do.
I certainly do. And of course, being working from home, as we are in lockdown, like everyone, it gives you the opportunity to do more and more of these jobs.
Yes.
Skive off work.
So you have no excuse, Steve, no excuse whatsoever.
Skive. There's a good word, but we'll talk about that another day.
Yes, avoid work. You avoid work. You
Yes.
try to avoid having to do any work. Where are you, Mr. Duncan? We are in England. You are watching a live stream from England with myself, Mr. Duncan, and also Mr. Steve over there. He's the other guy with the umbrella, even though he hasn't got his umbrella at the moment.
Oh.
But that's Mr. Steve, and I'm Mr. Duncan, and I'm with you every day. So I will be back tomorrow, don't worry. Tomorrow is Monday, and I will be with you tomorrow as well, as I will through the whole of April. I am going to be with you every day. So I will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much, Steve, for your company.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Thanks for inviting me. I've enjoyed it, and I hope you have too. And
Yeah.
I hope if you celebrate Easter, or even if you don't, you have a very nice day today, rest of your day today. Some of you will be going to bed. And of course, tomorrow is a holiday here in the UK, and I look forward to seeing you maybe in the week, because I am on holiday for the next 5 days. So
Oh.
maybe I might make an appearance. So goodbye to you all, and see you all again soon.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you, Steve. And that was Mr. Steve joining us today. I hope you enjoyed it. Steve was getting a rather nice suntan as well in the corner of the garden. He does worry a little bit, though. He said, Duncan, please don't make me stand in the sun. It will damage my beautiful porcelain skin. So I tried to keep Mr. Steve out of the sunlight as much as possible. So I'm going in a moment. I hope you have enjoyed today's live stream. I've been with you here on Easter Sunday, and I hope you have enjoyed today's live stream. I'm back tomorrow. Yes, I will be with you tomorrow from 2 p.m. UK time again. It will be the 13th of April tomorrow. So I will see you tomorrow from 2 p.m. UK time. Don't forget also, you can give me a like, and you can also subscribe if you want. If you want to give me a little like, you are more than welcome to do so. You can like, and if you wish to, you can also subscribe to my video lessons as well. I hope you have enjoyed everything today, and I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. See you tomorrow. Thank you very much for your company. Thank you, Valentin. How do we call the day after Easter? Well, here we just refer to it as Easter Monday. So tomorrow here we will just say Easter Monday. Normally it would be a public holiday. Unfortunately, at the moment, everyone around the world is having a lot of public holidays. Some might say too many. See you tomorrow. Thank you very much for your company. For the past 2 hours I've been here in the garden. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English saying thanks for watching me. I hope you've enjoyed today's English Addict. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Saturino. Thank you, Petrus. Thank you, Vital. See you later, Lewis. Thank you very much for your company. Wherever you are in the world, it is nice to see you here today. Thank you, Nguyen Tran. And a big thank you to everyone watching in Vietnam as well. Thanks a lot for your company today. Kovi, Noemi, Tanya, Evangelina, thank you very much. The English for today was very high level. Many of the words you will have seen today, you can always watch them again, you can see them again. If you don't understand them, you can write them down and you can add them to the words that you already know. And of course, until tomorrow when I am back again, thank you very much. And you know what's coming next. I'm pretty sure you know what's coming next. Ta-ta for now.